Hey everybody, it's KPC Zombie, and this is the advanced Bioshock speedrun tutorial. Now, as you can see on the screen, I've broken down this video into 3 parts. The first one is strats that anyone can do, meaning it's your first couple of runs, and these are just a few extra things that'll help you go a little bit faster. The second category is people who want to improve your times, meaning you know the run already, you're familiar, you've done a couple of runs, and these are a few small optimizations that'll help you go faster and have a better time. The third category is people going for top times. Now I have this as a separate category because a lot of the strats in here are either really hard to do, or if you miss them, you're going to lose a lot of time. Most of them are both. So you're welcome to try them if you're not going for a top time, but I'd recommend going for these only if you're going for a top time. We're going to start with strats that anyone can do. And the first one that we're going to be talking about is animation canceling when you're firing weapons. Basically what this is on the shotgun, the grenade launcher, and the crossbow, after you shoot, there's either a pumping or like a reloading animation that takes a while, and in order to shoot again, you have to wait for the animation to finish. But what we can do is, after you shoot one of the weapons, if you switch to your plasmids and then back to your weapon very quickly, so just right click 2 times, it actually will skip the animation so you can shoot those weapons as fast as your fingers can click the buttons. Right now, I'm showing the fire rate difference between animation canceling and not animation canceling with all 3 weapons, just so you can see how big of a difference this actually makes as far as fire rate. As you can see, the fire rate when you're animation canceling of these 3 weapons is much faster than when you're not. So it will be beneficial at certain times to animation cancel. And again, all you have to do is swap to your plasmids and then back to your gun. So just right click 2 times and then you can fire again. The next thing that you can do is put your jump on scroll wheel. Now, Bioshock lets you have an action bound to 2 keys in this game. So what I do is I have my jump on scroll wheel down and also space. And I use space for the majority of the run to jump, but on the first level, Welcome to Rapture, I use scroll wheel down to jump. Because you'll see in a second, I'm going to let myself get dragged back and then jump forward, and I'm going to alternate between scroll wheel jump and spacebar jump. And you can see in the clips, when I use scroll wheel jumps, my jumps are going to be very smooth, and I'm going to jump again as soon as I hit the ground. But then you'll notice every other time, when my jump is on space, I'm going to be lagging back a little bit in between jumps. When you have your jump bound to scroll wheel on this level, it makes it not only faster, but it's also so much easier to get through this first part of jumping. So, I would recommend doing scroll wheel, but it's up to you. But as you can see, every other time, the jumps are very smooth, and then every time, they're going to be very kind of clunky as I'm lagging back in between every jump. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is fling orientation. Now, basically what this means is whenever you do a fling, you want to fling long ways with whatever item you're using. As you can see there, I'm flinging long ways with the box rather than short ways. And what this does is if you fling long ways with an item for whatever reason, you go higher. So this can make the difference between whether you go high enough or not high enough for a fling. And right here you can see that I'm set up to fling short ways with the box instead of long ways, and this is bad. So you really just want to make sure that you fling long ways with the item instead of the short way. So right here you can see I'm flinging with the box the correct way, long ways, and I make it on top of the wall with no problem. But now here you can see I'm flinging the wrong way and I barely make it on top of the ledge. So this difference might not seem too much, but it can make the difference between whether you get a fling or fail a fling, so just keep it in mind when you're doing flings in the future. Now this one is pretty self-explanatory. Jumping in water. When you jump in water, you go faster than walking. So you can see I'm walking back and forth just to show the speed. Now I'm going to jump through the water, and you can see I'm going much faster. So whenever you see a little patch of water, just try to jump through it and you will be going faster and saving time. This is the quick save smuggler strat. This way of doing this skip is much easier and much more consistent than what I showed in my other tutorial, so I recommend you do this way. So basically what you're going to be doing is you want to come in here and then about where I'm shooting, it's not exact, just stand about right there where that red circle is, and then what you want to do is look up and make sure you can see where it says use E, and from there press your quick save button, activate, and then hold backwards. It's important that you hold backwards instead of just tapping it. Right now we're on RCC about to do the fling, and I'm just showing if you don't like to use the machine gun rounds for the fling here, there's also napalm on the ground right there, so if you don't like one, you can use the other and see which one works better for you. Now we're going to move on to the strats for people who want to improve their time. So if you're not really familiar with the run, you might want to go do a few attempts, get a little more familiar with it, and then come back and watch some of these strats. The first thing I'm going to talk about is invincibility frames, and basically this is when your health goes down to 0, the game will keep you alive for a couple of seconds before it actually kills you, even though your health bar is at 0. Now you can see I'm going to be putting down a fire, walking into it, and you can see my health bar is at 0 even though I'm taking damage from the fire, and now I die. So basically that's just showing the invincibility frames. Something else I need to mention with invincibility frames is if I get down to my invincibility frames and then I stop taking damage, I won't die until the next time I take damage. So I'm still alive, and now when I take damage from this fire, I will die. The last thing I need to mention with invincibility frames, and I don't have a video for this, is if you get down to your invincibility frames and you use a health pack, the next time your health goes down to 0, you will die. So don't think that using a health pack will give you back your invincibility frames. The only way they can come back is after a long time, or if you respawn, you'll get them back. The next thing I want to talk about is faster menuing. Now instead of opening up the menu and clicking in the bottom right to open up the messages, what you can do, which is much faster, is if you bind your keyboard, or if you have a keyboard that has a previous song key, you can open up the menu and press previous song 2 times, and it'll take you to the messages. Now in this part right now, I'm just going to give you a couple quick tips to help you optimize your movement here. Don't bump your head on that pipe, it'll slow you down, and also don't bump your head on that pipe, it'll slow you down as well. Also right here, you want to jump up. Don't jump up the stairs, jump up this little side thing to the left, because if you jump on the stairs it can mess you up. Okay, for this part you want to jump into this corner until the door opens, and I apologize for what you're about to see, but this was the only way I could convey my message accurately, so. Now, if you ignore how poorly this is drawn and everything, this is basically the layout of the next room, and I've labeled jump 1, jump 2, and jump 3. So basically what you want to do is jump where it says to jump, and after that third jump you'll notice it says land here while looking at the stairs. After that third jump, you want to mid-air turn around, that way you can trigger the splicer to spawn. I'm showing the jumps now that you just saw, I'm showing them in slow motion, that way they're a little easier to follow. So you notice after that third jump on the bottom of the stairs, I turn around and the slicer spawned in. And now you're going to see it at full speed, and this is what it's normally going to look like. During the elevator, you can jump out of it a little bit early. So basically after Atlas says his quote, a little objective noise will play, and you can jump out of the elevator as soon as you hear that noise play. To kill the splicer up here, I'm just going to show a different way to do it that's a little faster. And then also, this is where you want to aim to headshot both the splicers. It won't work every time, but that's about where you want to aim. If you want to get early Steinman, just throw it when he says the word won't, which is a little bit before when you'd normally throw it. Okay, this fling is something that I watch a lot of people try to do, and I just watch them and I'm just not like this. Like, One thing that people don't understand about this fling is, as you can see on screen right now, that is what most people would call bad orientation, because you want to fling long ways with it, and they're right, you do want to fling long ways with it. But one thing that they fail to recognize is, if you get the orientation like this, it's still completely possible to do the fling. The only thing that would make it so you can't do this fling is if the barrel is rolling. So all you have to do to get this fling is, instead of trying to fling short ways with it, like in its current orientation, just turn so you're flinging long ways with it, and you can still make it up, like you'll see in the video in a second. Right here, when you're skipping the dialogues, two dialogues that you do not want to skip are, you'll see in a second, "What was that?" and "My friend, you are fucked." If you skip these two messages, it might mess things up, so just don't skip them. So right here, if you think Atlas is talking for a really long time right here, and you think the messages aren't playing that are supposed to, go into your messages, play Fontaine and the Devil, like you see me doing, and then skip over it with useless experiments. So, while making this video, this advanced tutorial, and getting to this part where you're getting Sports Boost, I actually realized something about actually getting Sports Boost. Is the mark for going fast and getting Sports Boost was always how many pictures it took. And in the past, if you could get Sports Boost in 4 pictures, that means it was really fast. But something I thought about was, in order to get Sports Boost in 4 pictures, you had to stop moving and take 4 pictures while you're not moving. So I just really thought about, that's not fast. It would be faster to take 5 pictures while never stopping moving. So basically, I actually changed what I was doing in my runs, my world record attempts, because of this video. So the best way to do this is now to get it in 5 pictures while continuously moving. And you'll see I don't get it on the first one, I actually have to get it on the second splicer, which is perfectly fine. The one thing that is important while you're trying to get your Sports Boost is you have to take that first picture when the splicer is right there. If you don't, you might have to take more than 5 pictures. For here, you want to line yourself up with this pole on the ground, and then keep going straight. And when your cursor gets over that little column there, you want to jump, and then it's important to stop moving. Take your hands off the movement keys, and then when you land, the bathysphere level will always be somewhere in that circle. Sometimes in RCC, the message "all that matters to me" will play 2 times instead of just once. So if you see it playing 2 times, make sure you play the top radio message before useless experiments, and then "all that matters to me" again. If you don't, it can mess you up and you might get warped out early. I'm showing you an example here from my run, because I tried to get a clip for the video without the splits in the chat, but I just couldn't get it. It wouldn't give me the double dialogue. So you'll notice in this clip, I'm coming through, I noticed that I got "all that matters to me" 2 times, and if you see here, I play the top radio message before useless experiments. Also, one other thing to take note of, you can actually play useless experiments before you turn the corner. That just warps you out a little bit sooner, saves a couple seconds. You can actually use decoy on the doors. The doors will open to the decoy. This is just a small little optimization that'll save you a second. Here I'm just showing you the best fall you can have on the elevator. You want to try to land right here, it's a flat surface, and then you can just hold left and you'll fall down right again. That's the fastest fall you can get. Okay, so this is for the level Proving Grounds. I'll show in a second how to get her running from the start, but this is just during the level. Do and do not do these things or else she will stop running. So I'm not going to read them because they're on the screen. Just keep all of these things in mind while you're going through the level. So after you hit the vent to get the little sister out, you want to stand right here, and then when the little sister starts running, As soon as she gets to that point right there, where those two lines intersect, just run to the door as fast as you can. And you'll notice when she got there, I started running right away. I'm putting in the entire level into this tutorial, just in case someone has a question or is confused about one specific part of the level. You can watch the whole thing if you want, or you can just skip to that one part you're having problems with, and hopefully it'll resolve your problem. And if you still need further help, just come message me, I'll explain it. Also, if you want to just skip this level ends at 21 minutes, at the 21 something into the video, so just skip ahead to that. For Fontaine, basically just put 3 proximity mines down where the floor changes right there. If you put them down like on top of each other, so they're inside each other, it won't work, so just spread them out a little bit. And then do that for the first 2 cycles of Fontaine, and for the last one, like you just saw, kill him with the crossbow. I just want to reiterate for these top time strats, they're either if you miss them, you lose a lot of time, or they're kind of harder to get. So if you need more help with any of these after you watch the video, just message me or like go in the Discord or something and we'll help you out. Okay, this is the early theater. If you go really fast through this level, you don't have your HUD right here. And if you go through this door, through the bathroom before you get your HUD back, your game can soft lock. So usually you want to jump in around 7:14, 7:15. So I'm also jumping around here with the clips a little bit because only Guillermo and I, the top 2 runners, are actually able to get here before the HUD is back. So if you can't get here before your HUD gets back, ignore this and ignore the next clip as well, because the next clip won't do much if you can't get to the theater early. So this is if you jump over the left side of the couch as it's falling down to you for whatever reason, the splicer, like you'll see in a second, the splicer will just be at the door, so you don't have to run over to him and come back. I also chose this clip because, as you'll see in a second, I don't perfectly jump over the couch, but it still does enough so the splicer will be at the door. So I'm just showing you it doesn't have to be a perfect jump over the couch, but just try to jump over it every time. Okay, for the splicer picture skip, basically we're taking 2 pictures of the first splicer, and the game thinks that we're taking pictures of 2 different splicers. That way later when we run down, we only have to take 1 instead of the normal 2. You can do this by, you basically pick up the camera and take a picture of the first splicer before the objective goal tells us to take pictures of the 3 splicers. So we took a picture of the splicer, then we get the objective to take pictures of 3, and that allows us to take another picture of the first one, and that'll count as 2. But to do this more specifically, a little message will pop up on the screen after you pick up the camera. And if that message is on the screen for the right amount of time, then the goal will be delayed. The objective goal, telling us to take the pictures, that will be delayed. So if you leave that message on the screen for too little time or too long time, the objective goal will pop up immediately. So just try to copy my timing in the video. I show it once in slow motion and then once at normal speed. Try to just copy the timing of the normal speed one. As soon as Arcadia loads in, you want to walk forward towards the door and trigger a dialogue to play, and then turn around and hit the door back to Smuggler's Hideout. This basically, it opens the door to Arcadia a second or 2 sooner. On Hephaestus, while you're placing the bomb, if you want to do this faster, like you'll see in a second here, jump off backwards, and while you're falling to your death, place the bomb. You can warp out early here before you pick up the lot 192, but this is really risky, so only go for this if you want a top time. I just want to say thank you everybody for watching the video. If you have any more questions about anything, you can message me on Discord, or you can ask the question in the server, the Bioshock Speedrun server. Also, you can stop in my stream. I'd be happy, no matter what game I'm playing, to help you out. I'll have links to everything in the description, but yeah, just thanks for watching.